Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of our amazing training series, 8 days of hope. I hope that you are feeling that. I hope you're feeling a lot of hope and encouragement from all of the speakers that have been giving their time and effort to us each morning. And today I'm so excited to host you into a really fun topic. And we've got some amazing stories that we're going to share as well, but we're going to really dig in to social media today, a part of our business that can be the most fun part of our business, but it can also be the most intimidating part of our business as well. And so anytime we're well trained on something, anytime we have more skills in an area, we do better, right? And it becomes fun and our creative side gets to come out in that as well. So today I'm just so excited to be able to lead you through that. We've got Integrated Presidential Director Michelle Bamba, all the way from Bora Bora, who's going to jump in and give so graciously of her time while she's on her vacation. And I really just want to start out before we get going here this morning and just ask you, while we're dreaming and planning and stretching ourselves, where do you want to be teaching a training from? Drop it in the chat. What's on your bucket list? Where do you want to be a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now? What's your dream vacation that you want to be able to get to an internet connection and share? Italy. Ooh, I love it. Me too. I want to go back to Italy so bad. Australia. Yes. So I love that the series is equipping us, but it's also teaching us how to dream bigger and how to really embrace the freedom that this business can give us, not just financially, but in our mobility and in every other way. I mean, how cool is it that we can build our business, love people from anywhere we can get an internet connection from? I mean, some days we just have to start off with that gratitude, right? So I love that. So we're going to kick off because we've got so much content for you today. And this is one of those trainings that you're going to want to watch and rewatch and tag people and take notes. And so if you don't have a pen and paper and you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't quite have everything ready, go run and grab pen and paper, maybe even something that's more permanent that you're going to keep track of, because this is going to be some really good stuff that could literally change your whole business. This is basically like having a marketing department on your behalf that's going to come in and really help you to have a consistent business, no matter what size you desire, a very healthy business. So we're excited for you. All right, so we are actually going to start off this morning with some stories, as we always do. And I love this because I hope that you're seeing the diverse background of every coach, and that there are such different starting points for us. Some of us start our businesses at different points than others. Some of us have huge followings when we start our business. Some have small. Some of us had chatter that resonates with you. Others don't. And so we're bringing in just so many people that have a heart for this mission, and they're going to share with you some of what they've done. This is where we leave success. Success leaves clues, right? So I'm going to start out with Integrated Regional Director Shira Wiley, and she's going to share for a few minutes with us this morning from her heart. And so take it away, my friend.
Good morning, and thank you so much. It's always an honor to be on with you all this morning. There's no better way than to kick our days off, dealing some hope and sharing some inspirational stories. So reflecting back on where I was, let me set my alarm because I'm so terrible about that. Reflecting back on where I was this time of year, this time last year, some of these thoughts came to mind. And let me know, just drop something in the chat, blink at me if you want, if you've ever heard a few of these things cross through your mind. I deserve to take a break and enjoy the holidays. I'm doing all my posts and nobody's reaching out. I'm too afraid to do a Facebook Live. I'm just not a good public speaker. I don't want to be pushy. My circle of influence, they're already healthy. They don't really need to make a change in their health, or they're already happy in their jobs. They don't really need this program. People are going to think this is an MLM or a pyramid scheme. if my husband was to coach with me or my wife was to coach with me, I'd be a lot further along in my business. Nobody wants to get healthy over the holidays. People can't afford it. What would people say if I posted that pic of myself again or shared that story about myself? I've gained a few pounds over the holiday. I'm not on program. I'm embarrassed. Or I don't have a weight loss story. Do any of these sound familiar? I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I've actually been coaching for 5 years. My husband, Mark, successfully lost 72 pounds in 4.5 months. And I was such a believer in this program that I decided to become a coach. My dad was my first client. He was really on my heart, recently retired, and I wanted to help coach him through this program. So, but what y'all don't know is that I quit a year later. I am a total quitter. I let the head trash get to the best of me, and I started to believe it. But here's what I look back on now, what my real problem was. I wasn't integrated. I didn't attend trainings regularly. I didn't check in with my mentor. I didn't do anything that was suggested on a consistent basis. I had a massive ego. I didn't follow the systems. I thought, I'm a pro. I've been in corporate sales for 20 plus years. I can do it my way and I can do it better. So when Justin talked about knowledge on ice, that's me. I can do it better. I didn't lean on my support team to ask for help, which eventually led to complete burnout. I became too overwhelmed managing my life, my job. I hit non-blended ED, and it was so overwhelming because I was doing it my way that I quit. Most importantly, I lacked vision and follow through. I believe this was just a weight loss product and not a life-giving, dream-catching, hope-dealing, transformational machine. So I don't know if you parents or grandparents out there have ever seen the movie The Polar Express. It's a favorite here at the Wiley House. So there's a scene where the young boy, he winds up in that train car with all of the toys and the puppets. And really the theme of the story is, you know, he's a little bit older and he wasn't sure if he should believe in Santa Claus. And the puppet looked at him and said, "You're a doubter." That was me with Optavia. I was a doubter. I didn't believe that this was a vehicle for me to achieve everything I wanted in life. Fast forward a couple years to about Christmas time, 2018, I was in line to see my doctor again. I was being prescribed anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants for what my life had become. I was escaping and numbing out on wine every night, trying to escape because that seemingly sexy corporate job that I held my hat on and thought so highly of, that Fortune 5 company that my ego was refusing that I release, left me so anxiety ridden. I lacked any sort of healthy coping skills. I was a nightmare to my husband. I was a nightmare to my kids because they were left with a mom that was just looking to tap out. I was exhausted. All of these emotions while I was silently watching those other coaches who I'd started about the same time with grow and build amazing lives. My fear of failure and the unknown paralyzed me. Don't let it paralyze you. I tell my team, my new coaches, you know, who are nervous and who are freaking out about sharing, and I understand it's hard to be vulnerable, it's hard to be real, but when you're being vulnerable and real, it allows people to really get to know the real you. So don't fall victim of having paralysis by analysis, right? You don't need a script. You don't need to double check, spell check. Just go. Suspend all fear and go. Empty that head trash. Because how has it been serving you up until this point? Has it been working for you? So what's changed? And I'm going to wrap it up with a few takeaways. Be willing to become a rookie. Say, I don't know. Listen and just do. Stretch yourself. Be willing to give up the good for the great. And you know what I just decided is that I was willing to go to any lengths to get it. You have to be willing to completely change who you are today to become the person you're destined to be. And here's my promise to you when you do that. What you're gonna lose is what was built for the person you no longer are. So here's a few action steps I'll leave you with. Today, I know there's going to be other action steps that Rachel's going to leave you with, but I would love for you to write a letter to your future self, describing exactly what you want and what you will have accomplished by this time next year. What do you want? What does it look like? How does it feel? Then seal it up, write your name on it, put it in an envelope, and write "Do not open until December 16, 2021." And then take a real good look at your social media. One, do the people know you're even out there? Are you adding friends and people consistently every day? Are you crystal clear about what it is you do? Or are you hiding, playing this game of peekaboo and hiding behind quotes that don't even have your own commentary or story attached to it? I have a lot of friends out there that are posting quotes that sell candles, they sell eyelashes, they sell, other types of products. There's a lot of quotes out there. Put your commentary to it. Let them know how it relates to what you do. And three, when people know what you're doing is effective, they know it's effective by telling your story often and sharing before and afters, doing Facebook interviews, hosting healthy happy hours. Just get out there. You only have a brief moment to capture their attention. Make it real, make it relevant, and keep it simple. That's all I got. Thanks, Rachel.
Wow, that was so very good. And what I love is that you said so many things, but two things that stood out is we just need to be experts at telling our story. And that's what you're going to hear on every single one of these trainings is if you're going to master something, right? Don't master how many grams of protein are in the fuelings, right? Master your story. Who were you before Optavia? Who are you becoming? What are you looking forward to becoming? What's that going to require? How does this community help that along, right? Really telling our stories and telling them with passion and telling them with conviction and telling them with authenticity and transparency. And no one, comparison is such a hard part of our business because it's human. We all compare, but nobody has your story. I don't care what rank they are. I don't care how big their business is or how small. The coolest thing is that your story and the intricacies of it are so unique and so precious. So I love that. That was amazing. Now we're going to head over to Miss Ashley. And I love that idea of writing a letter to yourself. That was so good. All right, Ashley, Integrated Regional Director as well, going to drop some clues for us in and through her sharing today. So I'm going to move out of the way. Take it away, Ashley.
Thanks, Rachel. Well, good morning from Tennessee. It's a lot earlier or later here than you guys are all dealing with, but I'm so honored to be here, to be asked to share a little bit with you guys today. I'm going to set my timer too and dive right in because I've only got a few minutes, but my story really started back around 2017. 2017 and 18 were a really dark season for me, for my family, for my life. Was dealing with a lot of the things we've been hearing this week. It's interesting to hear this common thread of just those seasons that we came out of and what Optavia brought us to. But my husband and I were really fighting a stronghold in our marriage. It was failing. It was like we were ships in the night, just, roommates. We just weren't having that good foundation anymore. We were growing further and further apart. That stemmed a lot from our finances. I mean, we were broke. We were thinking about doing bankruptcy at that point. We financially were broke, but we were emotionally broken too. My husband was working all the time. We rarely saw him. We had a 3-year-old little boy, 4-year-old probably at the time, and he was working 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week at a job he hated, and he would come home exhausted, nothing else to give. I was working 2 jobs that I also hated. I was just doing it because we needed the extra income. We were just struggling to stay above, constantly living paycheck to paycheck, was struggling to take care of myself and a little human, as a newer mom for the first time, just really trying to balance all of that. But God, Optavia came and entered into my world through my beautiful coach, Marisa, and everything over time started to change, one thing after another, after another. It started with my health. Slowly just got this vehicle that was allowing me to get healthy and have the tools to do that. Richard started getting healthy. That started trickling into our relationship with one another and how our marriage was changing and getting better. Our finances started to change as I started coaching. My mindset, my goals, everything started to just go in a different direction. You see, I didn't always recognize and see what God had put in my hands with this gift of coaching. I still had that scarcity mindset for so long, something that just kept telling me, you're broke. You don't have enough, and it's all about the money. So coaching quickly became just a reason to make an extra buck for me. It wasn't about the people that I was transforming or helping to transform, rather. It was all about getting an extra dollar. It was all about, well, if Richard wants to start his program, then I'm getting that 60 bucks. I want that 60 bucks. My business was messy. I did my own thing. I really resonate with what you just said, Shara. I mean, ego. I was just doing my own thing. I didn't touch my life book, didn't get integrated. I was just far too focused on the rear view mirror. Have you ever felt that way? You've experienced failure, loss, scarcity. You're conditioned to believe that you're just not worthy. And so I keep telling myself, you're a failure. You're not enough. You're ugly. You're still fat. You're a quitter. You're a hypocrite and a liar. You're bankrupt. Nobody wants to hear anything about business or, what this is doing for you. Don't talk about it. Everybody's judging you. 6 months into coaching, I did want this to be my life. And so I really started getting out of my own way. There was something that just kind of clicked. I realized that there had to be something that went into all of these other coaches that were telling me, this is what you can have. This is what's possible. This is what you need to do it. So what if I did what they said to do? What if I did something with what God put in my hands? What if I just said, all right, let's see, let's go. So I started to look through the windshield of my life instead of getting caught up in the rearview mirror. And what a shift. Have you ever just thought about that? How much energy do we devote into the rear view mirror of our life? Are we constantly getting caught up in where we were and how certainly I can't have anything more? I'm not worthy of that. Are you periodically looking back to reference the past and where you came from? Or are you catching yourself giving it way too much attention like I was and allowing it to distract you from what's ahead of you, what God has for you, what this company and this program and this gift has for you? So newer coaches, seasoned coaches, everyone in between, own your story, get out of your own way. You are worthy. You are enough. You have the map. You even have the guide. So fix your eyes on the road ahead and walk into your purpose.
Wow. So good. Drop just one thing in the chat, one word, one nugget that she gave. There were so many. And I just love the hope that you just breathed into all of us. Our starting points are such a powerful point of our story. And sometimes I see in working with coaches that we kind of want to skip the starting point and just move it ahead to the glory of what's happened to us. But what's so important that Ashley broke down was the starting points of our story and where we're coming out of. And I just love that. That was so amazing. Yes, stop with that rear view mirror. Look ahead, write letters to our future self, visualize that future. It's so funny, in coaching kids in cross country, I used to lay them on this, hill and I would have them close their eyes and run the race in their mind, like actually run the race. How are you taking that hill? How many kids have you passed going up that hill? What are you pushing off of? Like actual visualization of something that's in the future is a very, very successful way to advance yourself when you feel stuck, is start to actually visualize that. So I love everything this morning that we've gotten so far. Now we are going to start breaking down social media. We don't want to leave a minute behind because this is such a meaty topic. And Michelle and I have so much planned for you around do's and don't do's, but I'm going to let Michelle kind of high level us, and then I'll jump back in. Take it away, Michelle.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning, guys. Oh my gosh, stories today have been so powerful for them to really share, where they started. And I hope it really resonates that we are not all perfect, right? It's really easy to see coaches who, maybe they've been doing this a little bit longer. They just talk to more people, and to see kind of where they've come from kind of makes us realize like, okay, like it's not always going to be perfect, but the gift that we have allows us, to dream bigger and to really start to create the life that we want to design for ourselves. But so powerful this morning. Well, I'm excited to dive into this topic because I'm so passionate about social media. I know probably, our team will know that because I'm constantly talking about social media, because it really is, you work social media, right? You can create such growth in your business because it's the platform we have to share our story, right? And to share who we are and to give people a glimpse into our life and what this gift that we have that we're offering to so many people. And so we're really going to get into, when you're speaking to your mentors, to your support team, they're telling you, the things as far as what we utilize social media for, the things that we do, or they're telling you, hey, do this on social media or do this. And, whichever platform you use, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, I don't encourage you to create an Instagram if you don't have one, because, that is just, sucking time out. So really get good at mastering one platform before really moving to the next. And so we're going to really dive into the whys, why we do the things that we do, right? Do the things on Facebook, and to really give you a better understanding as to why this is going to be helpful in our business and the things that we do. And let me tell you this, you guys, is social media will never stop working for you. Okay. So if you're here and you're maybe wondering like, man, like I just don't have that social circle, or, I don't know what, I don't have, all the followers, or it's not working for me. I will tell you this, social media will never stop working. It's you that stops working social media to its fullest potential. So we're going to really uncover a lot of the whys, and we're going to really get into, why we do the things we do and why not, right? Because there's always going to be those why nots as well. So I'm going to have Rachel kick it off with, the first section.
Awesome. I love this. So I want to give you a big picture too, is this is your storefront, guys. This is your brand. We're going to help you today to build your brand, and it's very exciting. So let go of the intimidation and just let that open mind come in, because you get to brand yourself. There is a massive difference between media and social media, and we're going to break that down. So let me start with some of the whys and why nots. So your profile pic, let's just start from the top. Like people are scrolling and they see your profile pic. Is it clear? Is it a quality photo, right? This is literally your storefront. This is your brand. So if you're like, you know what, my profile pic is something fuzzy from Easter and it really hasn't been updated and it doesn't reflect what I do, it doesn't show vitality, it doesn't show whatever you're trying to get across, maybe an amazing before and after, so that people understand clearly without a lot of guesswork what you do. And why is that important, right? Well, Michelle's going to touch on this, adding friends and all of that. But if you're adding a new friend and they're a friend of a friend and you've never met them and they look at your profile pic, how many seconds, how many scrolls do you want it to take them to understand exactly what you do, right? And so just keep that in mind. Not everybody's your friend and going to know, oh yeah, I know that profile pic is step one in getting that brand recognition. Okay. 2, your bio. Have you taken a look at your bio? Is it clean? Is it up to date? Or is there something there, like a last job that you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been there forever, and I don't even have health coaching or anything that talks about me being a mama or a fire wife. Like, it's not just about health coaching, but we want to make sure that your bio, think of it this way. Today, we're going to hit this over and over and over. Why would someone want to work with you, right? Why? What are those reasons? What points of relatability do they have by seeing that profile pic, looking at your bio, and really understanding clearly what you do? So that's super important. And then, is your Facebook public? Remember that we want to be referred. Tim and I have people that are 6 layers away calling us, where we're like, okay, this is a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, right? They're sharing our content on social media, asking if they can share it, and forwarding things to their sister-in-law who's about ready to start keto. That will not happen to us if we lock stuff up. And I know that we all have individual concerns about privacy or safety. And this is one of those things where the best thing that Josh and Michelle said to Tim and I is, when you opened your business, when you became a professional health coach, it is now a business, right? And we can still insert our personalities, but businesses are public, right? They're not private and locked down. So we really want to think about the cost of having things stay private. And it might cost us more than we're willing to pay if we have some of those things locked up. As far as like the before and afters and why we post them, the thing that I really want to stress here is trust your mentors. If you're in client acquisition mode, and most of us are trying to be consistent with adding clients so we can add coaches, right? We understand the rhythm of our business always starts with a new client. Then they're going to guide you on that cadence. How often do you post a before and after? Make sure you're talking to your mentors about that. Do not let chatter dictate how often that is, but instead on your map calls or when you're speaking to your mentors, ask them, should I be doing a 2x2x2, a 3x3x3, a 5x5x5? I think it's very important that you trust their leadership, because they, in many cases, have built the business that you want, and they can give you some really good guidance there. And then you and your story, right? So posting before and afters of you, updating your journey. You know what, guys? I even love when we see coaches that have talked about relapsing. Can we talk about relapsing? Can we say, hey, I digressed over COVID, or I digressed over the holidays, and I'm putting myself back out there as a health coach. And every week I'm going to update you on my before and after and my success. So part of the before and afters is you and your journey. And that keeps us accountable, because we never stop being a client, do we? Right? And I love in the book, in the Habits of Health book, and I can even tell you the page because I love it. It's page 77 of the Habits of Health book. And it talks about stage 6 of change is relapsing. And so if you're like, yeah, I'm not posting anything of me because I'm not on point, reconsider that, because Dr. A has actually spelled out that that is a part of our change process. And it's a part of us being real on social media, and people identify with that just as much as they do when you've attained your goal. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Michelle, and she's going to give you some why nots. We're going to bounce back and forth with why and why not. So go ahead, Michelle, and take that next piece.
Yeah. So before I get into the why nots, I do have some whys too, because as we know, it is very important in what we do. To really, obviously, like Rachel said, is just sharing our story and sharing it boldly. And we want to have an audience, right? I want each of you think about how many friends you have on Facebook. Okay. And I want to encourage you to add friends. And why do we do that? Is we have an auditorium. Facebook allows us 5,000 friends to add. And so we have an auditorium of 5,000 seats. Why are we limiting ourselves and not filling up that auditorium, right? And not filling up those seats for people to come watch our life and invite them into our life. And so we want to request new people every single day, and we want to immediately connect with them. No, we can't just go add, and then don't do anything, because you guys, they get lost. They do. Just because we have this Facebook, front area, doesn't mean everyone's going to see what it is that you're doing. So it's really important to not only, add friends every single day, but to also connect with them on common ground. Go take a look at their profile. Go take a look and see what they're about. Go be interested in them. Okay. So as we're adding friends, something that's very easy to take note is as they actually, as we request them, you get a notification. Their Facebook sends you a notification when they actually accept your request. Write their names down, have that become your new hundreds list. And those are the people that you want to connect with. We want to be vulnerable, right? We want to share people who we are. And the reason that we want to do that is because people want real. You don't need to be perfect. People are going to connect so much more with you sharing the vulnerable stuff, maybe sharing your struggles, sharing who you are, not just throwing up some before and afters and thinking that people are going to come running to you, right? One thing that's actually really good, and a coach shared this a couple weeks ago, but it's what are we showing people who we are? Now, I want you to think about what your Facebook page looks like. Okay. If you were a stranger and you went to your page, would you be inspired by what you see? Would you be inspired and think, man, that person can help me in my own life, not just in health, but in all areas? We get very good at just posting before and afters, but you guys, there's so many programs out there. Why are we just posting before and afters? Why are we not sharing everything that Optavia allows us? Why are we not sharing our life book on there or sharing our habits of health? Why aren't we sharing the community? Why aren't we sharing all the components that Optavia allows us to have? What makes us different? Because everyone posts before and afters. And so as we know, we are different than everything else out there, to start to share that. And on top of that, start to brand yourself. Are you branding yourself? Are you sharing what you stand for? Are you sharing people who you are? We want to be able to go onto we want people to come to our pages, be inspired by what they see, but also know, man, that person can help me. Now, if I go to my own page and I'm inspired by what you see or by what I see, I would think, I'm doing a good job on my social media. I know that I'm a health coach. So I can help people that, all the bits of pieces of who I am and what I love. So branding yourself is so key, you guys, in all that we do. So some of the things that we do not want to do is we don't want to, I know it's easy to do, but the reason that we don't want to do this is because of the way that it works out. And that's hitting that share button, right? You guys, as coaches, we can honestly, we can share what other coaches are having, right? We can take before and afters, we can take recipes, but we don't want to take people's personal posts, right? But we also don't want to hit that share and share what another coach has just shared. And why do we want to do that? We want to be sure, or why we don't want to do that is because I don't want my audience to go to that coach, right? If we're just sharing a before and after, or we're hitting that share button, they're not going to come to us. They're going to go to that other person, right? So we want to make sure that we're copying the words. We're posting them as our own. We're saving the picture, and we're adding something to it. Add a commentary to someone's story, right? Not just share their story. And we don't want to copy our coach's personal posts. You guys, make it your own. I can tell, if it sounds like you are not, right? Your close friends and family can tell if that's you posting it or if you just took it from someone else, right? So many times I've gone through coaches' pages and you can tell they've copied because they didn't change the wording. I know that they didn't have 3 kids or they didn't go on vacation here, here, and here. And so just be very conscious of what you're posting. If there's some pieces that, that sounds really good. I know sometimes we struggle with maybe the words and putting words together. It doesn't have to be perfect, you guys, but come from your heart. Have that come to you. Coaches take a lot of time crafting their stories. And so we want to make sure that it comes from your heart, not from someone else's heart. So be sure to really just post what you are about, right? Post your stuff, but you can take before and afters. You can take health posts. So Rachel, back to you on some more of this good stuff.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some of the don'ts that may or may not be obvious. We don't post the name Optavia on our personal page, and we try to avoid that. And at first, that can send up a little chatterbox like, wait a minute, are we being cryptic? Are we not proud of our offering? Absolutely not, right? This is just the simple fact is that you just cannot explain our program in by them going to the page, they're just going to get confused. Okay. They're going to get confused. They may think, oh my gosh, this is a shakes and bars program. I've done one of those things before. I'll just keep scrolling, right? That's not for me. And so, because we always start out with a health assessment, we want to make sure that we give them that first trust deposit of listening to them, learning what they're trying to create, not assuming they're a fit for program, and not just blasting it out there. So, one of the things that we want to not do is just put that name all over social media. Really, this is where, like Michelle's saying, this is where we get to use things like lives. One of the things that I have been doing, because it is difficult to explain our comprehensive offering, is to be able to take those parts that are difficult and do a go live. Like the other day, I just did a go live on how important behavioral components of our program is. I didn't say Optavia. I said the program that I offer is the only program that I know of that is very strong on habit science and the neck up side of the program that I saw everyone struggling with for the last decade of my life. And I did a go live on it and I explained why that's so important to me, but I not once said Optavia, because that's not the piece that I want them to connect with. I want them to connect with me, and I want them then to get on a health assessment, and that will not happen if I drop the name and confuse my audience, right? So I don't want to confuse my audience. So make sure that those hashtags are not there. There comes a point in our business where you can have that, like in the backdrop, the logo and things like that. We're not saying to completely omit the name, but it will not be beneficial to put that hashtag in your before and afters. It will only confuse the people that are following you. We really want you to brand you, and Optavia is the vehicle in which they will receive that service. So grid photos. So a lot of times we can just slam grid photos in our feed, right? Those are those just kind of like they look like they've been maybe something you see in transformation stories, right? They're great and we have to embrace them, but we don't want your whole feed to look like an infomercial and just have grid photos all over the place. That does look very salesy in some aspects, and we really want to bring a little more authenticity to the table and make sure that it's not just lumped into all those other programs that are out there. So avoid using too many grid photos. And really, we really want to, and Michelle's going to get into this a little bit more, but we really want to have those photos of you as often as we can, or your coaches. We've been featuring our coaches on our page, and we've been featuring clients on our page, and we're kind of getting away from that just grid look that can look a little static. So make sure that you have a healthy tension there and it's not just grid photos. You can follow coaches. So listen, I actually have a lot of this happening right now, a lot of friend requests from other coaches. And then you feel bad because you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to take their friend request. Why is that? Well, because we all get this stadium of 5,000 people that we get to fill up with friends of friends of friends and influencers and all of that. And we love our coach family. So we want to follow other coaches. And if we're all public, right, like we earlier said, it was important to be public, then everyone can really follow us without taking a seat, right? So we don't want to have, and then the other thing is from an algorithm point of view. If you start friending all these health coaches, guess what you're going to see in your feed? Just all of their stuff, and they're going to see all of your stuff, and your reach to get that mama who's hopeless is going to be limited because you're going to be full of other coaches' stuff in your feed. So there's a reason that we do and don't do everything around here that we ask. We're not just being silly. And then as far as posting too close together. So let me give you an example. There's something called like a power post. I posted a cauliflower loaded baked potato soup about 2 weeks ago. And it just got so much traction. Of course, I didn't put the recipe in there because I wanted to interact with people. So I omitted the recipe and I said, DM me or, let me know below if you want the recipe. And this became a power post, 68 comments, DMs on the side. How's your family? It created conversations. There's no way I was going to post on top of that. Okay. So sometimes posting on top of something that's getting a lot of traction is counterproductive. So we don't want to just post, post, post. If we're getting traction, we want to feed that and go offline and start conversations and go back and comment. So really, don't post too close together or too often. I think what we're really saying here and trying to drive home, quality over quantity, and really engaging. Like when you post something, ask yourself, is it entertaining? Is it educational? You know, I follow Dr. A. He's got so much education on his page that I can check that box and post educational things. Is it inspirational? So my rule for post is educational, inspirational, or what did I say? Entertaining, right? So I'm going to pass it back to Michelle, and she's going to go over some of the more detailed do's.
Yeah, so I was actually going to get into that too. I love that you mentioned that, because you guys, exactly, educate, entertain, inspire. Now, if your posts follow one of those, or maybe they don't right now, I would encourage you to start following that before you just post, right? Is it educational? Is it entertaining? Or is it inspirational? Because sometimes we just want, when we do the 3x3x3, how many of us are just, okay, well, I just need to get that 3 out. And we don't think about what we're posting. We want to be really intentional with what we post. We want to bring people value, right? We don't want to just be throwing up a number because, okay, I got to check that box off. That's not how this works. Okay. One thing that's, I think, really big, that's very important to know is, I know a lot of us have Instagram, right, accounts, and we share both on Instagram and on Facebook, which is great. But one thing that I would encourage you not to do, and the why behind that, is do not click that box from Instagram to share straight to Facebook. Okay, I know it's a step where we think, okay, well, we're saving time, but let me tell you why we don't want to do that. Facebook knows when you're being social, okay? And if you are just clicking that box on Instagram to just share automatically on Facebook, Facebook's not going to recognize that you're being social. And so you may get lost in people's feeds. You may not show up in people's feeds. And so it's really important to take that extra step, copy your wording, and upload your picture with Facebook, because that's how the algorithms start to shift, right? But I don't want you to focus on just algorithms. Sometimes we get so stuck, okay, I got to focus on the algorithms here and here and here, make sure that, I'm always up, in people's news feeds. But I want you to focus on connecting with people. That is where the magic happens. You can have the most beautiful Facebook, but you can have a really crappy business, because it's not the post, it's the magic behind the post. It's connecting with people, it's messaging people, it's being interested in their life, going to like their pictures, commenting on their pictures, messaging them about something that you saw on their page. It's connecting with people. If you focus on the connecting and the connection and building relationships, algorithms will shift on their own. So don't focus on the algorithms, focus on connecting with people, and really taking it back with, bringing the value is share healthy tips, right? Give people some free value that they can take with them, because we don't want to have to do my program in order for them to get tips, right? No, we want them to know, hey, this is what we do. We're passionate about helping people, whether you do my program or not, because when they are ready, guess what's going to happen? They're going to look at you as a professional. They're going to be like, you know what? They've brought so much value to me for free already. I need to see what this program is about. And so we want to make sure you guys keep it professional, right? Remember, this is now your business. We don't have room for negativity in our business. We don't want to be posting those topics that can bring that chatter or bring negativity. So I would say really stay off of politics. I know during the season it's hard, but keep that to yourself, because guess what? We want to be open for everyone, right? We want to make sure there's no negativity on our posts, that we are inspiring, that people want to come to our page. Because if we're always filling up with negative feeds, negative posts, people aren't going to want to come to your page, right? People aren't going to want to follow you. So make sure that when you look at, and that's something I'm going to encourage you guys to do is, after this training, is really go look at your Facebook. Are you just sharing a lot of stuff, right? if you are, I would encourage you to start cleaning that up, right? Let's just start deleting those shares for random stuff, right? Let's utilize social media and Facebook for business, because like I said, if you do it right, and if you work it right, you will start to get a lot of traction. You will get to start to get a lot of people that are inspired by what it is that you're doing. And don't compare yourself to other coaches. Don't compare yourself to what you see on their page, or they have a better life. No, you guys, remember, everyone is different. The only thing that makes a coach more successful is they've just talked to more people. So start connecting just with more people. Celebrate clients, right? Show people what is possible with this program. Don't just throw up a bunch of before and afters and just expect people to come to you. That's not how it's going to work, right? We want to make sure that we are going after, thinking the people that are liking, starting those connections with people behind the scenes, because behind the scenes is where the magic really happens. So I hope this was very helpful for you guys. Something that we're kind of getting into next is we're going to show you, really more of the action. Here's a good method that we use and maybe a lot of you have heard about it. We've actually shared this before, but for all new coaches that haven't, it's not about, like I mentioned, just posting, right? We want to make sure that we're getting into action, that we are utilizing and why we're actually doing that. So this is going to help create more action than just the 3x3x3. We want to make sure that we are posting 3 times a day, right? And like Rachel mentioned earlier, if you have a good power post, don't just post something else just to check that box. Work that post. Start messaging people. I mean, she messaged a ton of people off of a soup recipe. People want that. They got that education, right? They got a healthy tip. They got a healthy recipe. People want that stuff, So this is going to be something that really is going to put a lot of action, as far as what we're doing every single day. So if we are doing the 3x3x3 every day, and now we're going to get into this method of the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, you're going to see that your Facebook is really going to shift. So we're going to kick it off with 2 power posts a day. Okay. So part of the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, remember that 2 power posts a day. Okay. Like I mentioned, right? We're always, if you're in client acquisition mode, we want to post every single day, a before and after, but don't compare. If you're seeing another coach that maybe doesn't post every single day, before and after, they may be in a different season. So always, encourage you to always work with your mentor team. They're going to be really helpful for you and what you need, and just stay in our own lane. So 2 power posts a day. What does that mean? It means, are you bringing value? Or are you just throwing up a post? Are you showing people what this can offer, right? Are you showing maybe the different components in this program? What are you learning about in your life book? Show people that this is not just just food and bars and shakes, that there's actually value behind it. The education is what people need. People don't need the food. The food is just the tool. The program is the education. The program is the community. Food is just a tool, guys. So 2 power posts a day on top of, your before and after. So Rachel, the 4.
Yeah, so 4 is my favorite part, my absolute favorite part, our stories. We have this amazing billboard that's behind our storefront, and I want to share with you too, something just being unplugged, like that kitty cat with the yarn that says like Happy Monday. We got to do less of those, right? And that's not to criticize anyone. Hey, if you're out there posting the kitty cat with yarn and you're just learning social media, then we see you and we love you and we understand that you're trying. But at the end of the day, that just doesn't tell a story. And so we really want to utilize more of your heart in your brand every day. So this 4 stories a day, it could be a couple in Instagram. It could be, if you don't utilize Instagram, you have Facebook stories. And what I love is this is a glimpse of your life. Like, this is your cute little dog. This is you meal prepping. This is for me, it's my grandsons. Like, I love posting pictures of my grandsons. I want people to know that I'm a grandmother at 47 and that I adore my grandsons and that I balance all those things in my life, not just, health coaching, right? Health coaching is my life. It's integrated. And this is where we get to show our integration. I love Michelle. One time we were on a call and she's like, we don't put like our social media hat on and then like our health coaching hat on and then our mom hat on. Like, we are always living an integrated life. And this story in these 4 stories, a couple in the morning, maybe a couple in the afternoon, this is the why people would want to work with you. Like, are you funny? Are you into the same shows they are? And then I would recommend one before and after in that feed, just because I put it to my coaches like this. If you had a scone shop, let's say that you made scones, right? You can bet that a scone shop would have pictures of scones in their feed with the drizzly stuff on them and all that. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to get over there and get some scones for the holidays for my family. They would never think like, oh, we've posted too many scone pictures. They want to stay relevant. So think of it like that. Are you guys open for business? Does your Facebook story say you are? And almost like, that sign that says closed, like when you walk up to a shop and it's turned around and it says closed. When I see my story empty for the day, I kind of equate it to like, oh shoot, my closed sign is up. I'm not open for biz, right? So those are just some fun ways to start playing with your story. Oh, the thing I love about the stories, you guys, is you could see who's looking at them. How fun is that to add to your heart list? So now you're like, oh my gosh, this girl from high school is looking at all my stories. You can bet that you can go start commenting on her stuff and she's going to see even more of that. She's probably in pre-contemplation. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Michelle, for the, let's see, we're on 6.
Yes. And what I love stories, you guys, so you're always going to hear this, right? Is we don't want to scroll on social media. Do not be a scroller. It is a time sucker. It's just going to waste your time. But you can scroll with stories. People are waiting for you to reach out, right? This is the best way to start conversations with people because people are waiting for that. And there's no limitations on how many stories you can post a day. That's what's so awesome with Facebook and Instagram. They've given us this tool that you can post 100 stories and it's normal to post that because that is what it's there for. And people aren't scrolling this way anymore. They're scrolling through those stories. So really utilizing and inviting people to your page. You have an amazing before and after, post that in your stories and even invite people to come check out their story on your post. That works very well, you guys. So stories, I love stories. You can never have enough of them. So start utilizing that if you haven't already and just show people who you are and give them a glimpse into your life through that. So we've got the 6, okay? So this is 6 likes a day. Now, we've mentioned it's not about posting, right? It's about interacting. It's about being interested. As it gets brighter out here, I get darker, but I'm sure you'd rather see that view anyways. But yeah, so 6 likes a day. What does that mean is go be intentional with people, okay? Don't just sit and just scroll and just wait and see and wait for people to come. No, go be intentional. Go be interested in their life. Go like people's posts. Go like their stories. Go like people's pictures. We want to give engagement. We don't want to just get engagement. We want to give it. It's not about whatever I get. No, I want to give it to people too. And so really think about, or actually don't think about, do, right? 6 likes a day. So back to you with the 8.
Awesome. So 8 is really simple. Just going out and talking to 8 people, 8 comments. I love to think about who needs this program, who needs coaching, who is in need of a breakthrough, who do I know that's suffering, and make sure that I consistently add those people to my list and then go on their Facebook page or in their Instagram and start conversation, start commenting on things. And what I mean by that is just as simple as like the other day, a friend that was talking about booking a vacation. And I went on and I just asked a question like, are you guys using a travel agent? That sounds amazing. Or are you going to be doing this yourself? And then now it got into a conversation and I said, I'll DM you. So now what? Now it's getting so beefy that I need to move it to a DM. Now we're talking. Now Facebook's going to reward me even more and say, hey, these guys are real friends. They started out with a couple comments on a post and a little bit of dialogue, and then they moved it to a DM, and now they're talking. And so that is so important to know that those 8 post comments a day on someone else's post, and not health coaches. Like sometimes I think, gosh, we love our family so much, but don't spend your day edifying other coaches as much as you would the person who desperately needs this program, right? Let's not forget that if we only have 15 minutes in the business, for the morning and we want to touch it and we want to be effective, we really want to start to move our time blocks to things that really help us to help more people.
Yes, love that. All right, for the 10 guys. Okay, so we know that we have a 3x3x3 and we message 3 times a day at least, but why stop there? Why not start messaging 10 messages a day? Direct messages, Facebook Messenger, even connect with people through text, a voice. I love doing voice messages. It's so much more personal. But this is 10 people on your list, 10 maybe new friends that you've just added on Facebook. But the goal is to start those connections with people. And you're obviously hearing that kind of be the topic of conversation, is those connections with people are going to make such a difference. Maybe the people that have liked, part of or your stories. What a great way to, start interacting with them. The goal is to create meaningful conversations and meaningful connections. And obviously one of the easiest and the most natural way to connect is through Facebook stories, is through Instagram stories. People are waiting for that, you guys. This is such a golden way to make conversation with people. So someone just asked for the 8. The 8 was, sending comments, comment on people's pictures, commenting, engage with their pages, their pages. So you guys, this is simple. This is an easy way to really get into action every single day. The 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 method. And that's something we'll post in the group, but I'll tell you, it's all about getting into action, not just posting on Facebook and waiting for people to come. It's the magic that happens behind the scene. But Facebook will never, and social media just in general, will never stop working for you. It's you that stops working it to its fullest potential. And so I really want to encourage you guys to, really utilize that. And if you're unsure, because I know technology, some of you maybe never even had a Facebook until you became a coach, but connect with your mentor team. They're going to be there to help you every step of the way. I can tell when if a coach isn't doing well. First thing I would do is go look at their Facebook. Why? Because if you have 1,000 friends, but you're only getting 8 to 10 comments or 8 to 10 likes, that shows that you're not being social. To start being social. That is what this platform is about, right? It's about being social. So I'm going to give it back to you, Rachel, to close us out.
Okay, awesome. So we are going to actually, I think, post the action steps in the group, but really they're very simple. Let me read them off to you. Suspend all fear and thinking and just go. Your first step today might be to just go and follow someone who is doing this really well and start mimicking without, copying exactly as Michelle said, what they're doing. But the first step is going to be to let go of being anything that you feel is like, oh, I don't know if I can be this consistent. Guys, consistency is part of professionalism. And we're teaching you how to be consistent and build a brand. So let go of any chatter that doesn't serve you around social media is step 1. 2, your win the day cards. We're loving that. How many of you are feeling more productive every day just by being intentional with what you're going to do for the day and what you're striving for? Make sure that you've gone back to all the action steps. Maybe you're missing a couple. Today's the day because we don't have so much to do to go back and finish up any action steps that you're missing. And then make sure that you go give a scroll review. Guys, you're going to audit yourself, inspect what you expect. Go to your Facebook after this call. Take a look at it. Would I know you're a health coach? Would I know what you're passionate about? Would I be inspired? Would I be educated? Would I be entertained, right? Or would I be confused? And do it without criticizing yourself. Get creative, get excited, because if you've grown your business and you haven't felt really strong about social media, imagine when you are equipped and you're doing it even better than you're doing it now, right? And then we're going to complete the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 method today. Today will be a first day where you get to put it into action and see just how easy it is. And you're like, wait a minute, I just been overthinking this. So we're going to put all this in the takeaways, and you will see that. We thank you. And we definitely thank you, Michelle Bomba, for coming in and graciously giving us your time from your vacation, sacrificially. We love you. We love all the speakers. Thank you, Ashley and Shira. And we hope everyone goes out and just, lives out loud today. Have a blessed day, everybody.